Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today on the session to talk about major incident management inside ServiceNow. I see that we really have a truly global audience. We do have people from the APAC also, and it's late at night. So thanks so much for making the time to join with us. Just a quick note before we start our main presentation. Today we are going to be looking at some forward-looking content. So please do keep that in mind that this is sensitive content. So just a standard safe harbor so that you're aware. Please be careful about making investment decisions or purchase decisions based on the information you see. Please do work with your account team very closely to know what you are or are not entitled to. With that said, what I want to do is I also just want to let you know that while this is meant to be a conversation, we would like to, I see some people are unable to hear us. I just want to confirm. Janet, are you able to hear me okay?
Absolutely, 100%.
Awesome. John, I think maybe it's an issue on your side. If you could just check your Zoom connection, please. All right, so this is meant to be a conversation, but unfortunately the Zoom format that we're hosting it in is a webinar. So we are gonna ask that you rely on our question and answer format in case you have any concerns that you'd like to post. There are team members on the call with me across product management and engineering. And while I am going through the content, they are going to be looking at questions and helping address any queries that you have. So please do use the Q&A actively as we have multiple panelists who are going to be monitoring this. Along with that, I would also like to inform you that today's session is going to be recorded and shared on ServiceNow community. So in case you are looking for that recording post-session to send to your stakeholders, we will make it available to you. I'd also like to let you know, for those of you who are joining a ServiceNow webinar for the first time, we do actively run webinars for our different product areas on the ServiceNow community itself. You can scan the QR code that's currently on your screen, and it will take you to the community page from where you can see all of the different webinars that we have. We're doing a whole roadshow in the IT service management space this year. So if you're looking at big investments, let's say either this year or next in, let's say, incident management, problem management, change, I would definitely recommend that you take a look at the community on a regular basis, because we've been pushing out a whole bunch of features, and now we are working with customers to get them successful on those capabilities. So definitely something to have on your radar. Now, what I want to do is I want to spend some time asking all of you a few questions just so that we have a little bit of an idea of our landscape, who we're talking to. This helps us cater to your needs a little bit better in today's session. So the first thing I want to understand is, what's your role at your organization from all of the different attendees who are here? So are you a major incident manager? Are you a process owner, a team leader, or a developer? We want to hear from you. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and quickly launch a poll, and you will see this poll on your screen. And I would like for you all to just take a quick minute and go ahead and vote on this so that we can get some feedback around who it is that we're talking to. So again, there are 4 options available to you. If you could just choose the one that best describes your role at your organization, it would help us a lot in just getting clarity on who we're speaking to. We leave it open for a little while just so that all of you have the chance to go ahead and vote. All right, just going to leave it open for a couple of seconds, a few last minute holdouts. Please do take the time to vote and tell us which of these best describes your role. All right, I'm going to go ahead and quickly share the results of the poll just so that we can all get a sense of what's going on here. So quite a mixed group of people, which is always nice. We've got some major incident managers among us. Great. You are persona zero for us. Hopefully things we're going to be showing you today really resonate with you. We've also got some product owners and IT team leaders, which is nice as well. And rounding it out, we've got a couple of folks from the admin developer group as well. So great to meet you all again. Hope you resonate with the demo part of our presentation. Just to understand a little bit more about where you are on your service operations journey, we have one more poll question that I'm going to be bringing up on screen. Just let me move to the next slide. So this is around understanding where you are in service operations workspace. So just quickly, we want to take some time to hear from you. Where is this the first time you're hearing about service operations workspace? Have you already started implementing it? Is it on your roadmap? I'm going to quickly go ahead and launch the poll yet again. And I'd like you all to take a minute to just quickly go through the options available and give us your vote. Just going to give a few more seconds so that everyone can go ahead and put in their answers. For those of you who are new to service operations workspace, at one point in this presentation, we are going to beam up our contacts for each of the team members on call over here. We would love if you're interested in hearing more about service operations workspace, getting a targeted demo, we would love for you just to shoot us an email. It's entirely possible that we don't have direct access to you. So if you can just shoot us that email, we would be more than happy to set a follow-up with you, demo service operations workspace as a whole, let you know what the value proposition is, and get you onboarded if there's a possibility for that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end the poll really and just share the results so that we can all see. So again, nice mixed group of people over here. We've got some people who are brand new to the service operations workspace. Welcome. Hopefully it's going to be an exciting view for you, seeing where we're taking ITSM in terms of the future of interfaces. We also have a bunch of people who are implementing service operations workspace already and evaluating on roadmap. Great, awesome, love to hear that. Hopefully major incident management becomes that compelling point for you to actually take that step and move big bang into service operations workspace. And again, quite a few of you are already using service operations workspace. Again, hopefully once we show you major incident management, we can deepen the scope of that investment that you've made and extend how much value you're getting from your platform investment. All right, final question, and after that, we'll stop with the polls. We just want to understand where you are on your major incident journey, because it's entirely possible that major incident as a space is something you're new to. So I'm going to go ahead and just pose a final question to all of you. If you can tell us where you are you brand new to major incident? Do you already have a product solution in place, or are you just here to evaluate on your roadmap? All right, just a few more seconds. We still got some people who have yet to submit their votes. Awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and end the poll. Just quickly share the results. This one is a little bit interesting to me. First time we're seeing this kind of mix where a large number of you are already using major incident management. Great to hear. Again, it's going to be an interesting conversation. I do see that a good number of you are evaluating or thinking about bringing it onto your roadmap. Hopefully, we make a compelling use case for you, showing what it looks like inside Service Operations Workspace. And for those of you who are brand new to Major Incident, we've got a great offering, and you're gonna see some of those capabilities live today. So I'm excited to be here with all of you. And once again, I do want to remind you, our team is here to support you on questions. So anytime you have a doubt, please go ahead and put it in our Q&A, and our panelists who are monitoring it live will quickly just address it. I want to take a moment just to quickly introduce myself and my team who's working in the back end. So I'm Harsh Maliwal. I'm the product manager for Major Incident Management inside ServiceNow. So the key team members who are joining me are Janet, Jim, and Sam, all of whom lead our outbound product management efforts for the ITSM space. And we've also got one of our directors of engineering, Soumya, who actually has built this product. So all of us are here. We're here to support you. Any questions you have about the session on major incident in ServiceNow in general, please go ahead and put them in the Q&A. You don't have to wait for the session to get over. We are here to help you and enable you. Now, we're going to come to the core of the conversation today by just talking a little bit about why ServiceNow Major Incident. So ServiceNow Major Incident has been live for around 5 years. We launched it first in our London release, and since then we've made incremental modifications to it, but we haven't redesigned it in any significant way. The idea of the entire concept was that first and foremost, it reduces the need for your inter-app toggling. ServiceNow Major Incident becomes that single pane of glass where your major incident managers work, and all of their core workflows get stitched over here. So right from detection, taking a look at a ticket, understanding whether there's genuinely a need to declare a major incident, right up to actually sending out your email or SMS communications, letting end users, letting stakeholders know that you've got a major incident going on. We handle all of those workflows inside our platform. So the idea is that when you come here, everything gets simplified for you. Along with that, it also becomes an accelerated resolution. When you look at our solution, what we're going to be showing you is we're going to be showing you some of the different visual components that we've made just in order to simplify the work required for a major incident manager. We're also going to be talking about one of our new capabilities that we've stitched with called Playbooks. It's a platform offering that we have, but we've stylistically presented it differently inside the major incident world, just to simplify how things happen for major incident managers. Along with that, we're going to bring it home by talking about two things. We're going to show you our lightweight post-incident reporting capabilities, and we're also going to just do a quick screen grab of what our admin experience looks like. For those of you who are admins and looking to actually set up the product, this is where we hope you will find interest. I want to just quickly touch upon best practices and guidance. There are three major prongs that we're touching upon now. What we've done is we've come up with a new interface around major incident management. We're no longer going to be talking about the major incident workbench. For those of you who are newer to the call, don't worry about it if you're not familiar with the major incident workbench term. While we're not deprecating the major incident workbench right now, our guidance to customers is definitely that you think about uptaking a new service operations solution. The reason being, it's built out in newer technology. It's meant to be more configurable than the workbench, and we feel long-term it is better suited to meet your needs. Now, the three major aspects that we would like you to focus on when we're talking about major incident are playbooks, communication collaboration, and our admin experience. So when we talk about playbooks, what we're going to be looking at is you as our customer defining your business process on top of the ServiceNow platform. And the idea is that this tool that we're going to be talking about today, it allows you to real time bring your process into a ticket view and use it to drive your resolution. Along with that, we have advanced communication and collaboration capabilities that allow you to execute those core workflows from the platform itself. So for example, let's say you need to send out an email letting people know that, hey, we've got this major issue going on. or else you need to start a bridge call, whether it's on Microsoft Teams or it's a telephony-based call. We have all of those capabilities built in as first-class citizens on top of the platform itself. So the idea is that we want you to think about minimizing the number of times your major incident manager opens a different app. We want to keep you on ServiceNow. Finally, bringing it home, we'd like you to take a look at our admin experience. Now, while we've gone out with something relatively lightweight right now, the strategy that we have in ServiceNow in ITSM is we're going to be, as our product team, making investments in giving you, our customers, these guided experiences. So the idea is long-term, like you would go into one of these guided experiences and it would seamlessly take you through all of the features that you need to set up. And this is meant to be a representation of how we as ServiceNow believe you can get value. So we're going to be taking a look at the major incident admin experience today inside Service Operations Workspace, and hopefully that'll give you a sense of what it is that we're talking about over here. Now, that was a lot of content, and we'd be amiss if we didn't get to the demo. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to be taking you to an environment and showing you a demo live of major incident management. I do want to call out just before we begin the demo, major incident management, the stuff that we're showing you right now as a part of this demo is live. If you want to leverage it as a customer, the way you do that is you need your instance to be on Washington patch 2 or higher. And along with that, you need to install the store application for Service Operations Workspace 5.0. My supporting team members are going to be posting links in the chat to documentation, to the release, so that you have quick access to it. So please keep an eye out if you do have interest. Now, with that said, what we're going to be doing is let's jump into our demo. So we're going to take a look at major incident from the eyes of one of our major incident managers. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my ticket real quick. Give me a second while I just bring up that link. All right. So I've got my incident open, but I also do want to show you one navigational element. So for those of you who are new to Service Operations Workspace entirely, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you quickly how you access Service Operations Workspace, maybe touch on it for a minute or so, and then we're going to move into the core of the demo. So the idea is that if you're taking a look at your instance, this is what your classic ticket view would look like. Like that view that was there was just an incident. So the idea is you click on Workspaces, you drop down to Service Operations Workspace, and you click here. And it takes you to the home page of Service Operations Workspace. Now, in this case, I was already here because that link is pre-configured for my user. And this is meant to be that landing page. So on the landing page, for those of you, again, who are new, who are more used to our platform classic experiences, this presentation is meant to be a little more contextual to users. Excuse me. So for example, here you see an overview that's customized to Andrew being our major incident manager. And the real workflows for Service Operations Workspace start off when you click on this navigational element over here. This navigational element takes me to a list breakdown. And all of the different core ITSM tables that you would expect to see are surfaced over here. So for the point of view of today's discussion, because we're focused on major incidents, we're just going to scroll down here and see what are some of the different options available. I'd like to call out that these are modifiable, like you can add or remove each of these elements per your need, and you can also build out any kind of filters that you want to see. So typically what's going to happen is a major incident manager will come over here and open up a major incident candidate. Now, the idea is a major incident candidate represents someone calling in and saying that, hey, look, I think there's a potential issue here. Please investigate further. And really quickly, I want to show you what the record view for an incident looks like. So inside a major incident candidate, I can see a couple of different things. I can see the overview section where I have the summary and the impact. Now, inside the impact, I have all of my core fields like service, configuration items, service offering. I can also just quickly open up some related lists if I click on these. So different kinds of information available to me at hand, with the idea being that I should be allowed to quickly make a determination around whether or not there genuinely is a major incident. Another thing that I can see because I have it set up on this instance here is I can see some on-call information getting triggered inside the activity stream. So for example, if you have an on-call policy set up that sets up an on-call escalation, you will actually be able to see the notes of it over here. Additionally, you have some side panels that are available to you. So for example, you've got just some additional record information surfaced over here. Now, what I want to do is I just want to tell you what the primary action is that we expect our users to do. And then I want to take you to the core working view of the incident because that's significant. So given that you're on a major incident candidate right now, the primary action that we'd expect you to do is come to an assessment and either promote or reject. When you promote, what that means is you're officially declaring in the system that, hey, we do have a major issue, someone needs to investigate it. And you do that by clicking on this overflow and hitting the promote button. And if you go ahead and reject, what that says is, look, I've done the analysis and I don't think there's a need to panic here. So let's bring this down to a lower severity and let's treat it as a normal incident. So in case you go ahead and hit promote, it asks you to put in a reason. So I'm going to say, I have confirmed that this impacts a lot of users. And I'm going to go ahead and, in fact, I'm going to go ahead and just hit promote a major incident. Now, what I want to do is I want to just additionally take a look at any details over here. So one thing that I've noticed, for example, is that the assignment group is populated to Tableau MI managers. That all is correct. Now, one thing to note is if you got our on-call solution set up, what will actually happen is our now virtual agent will give you a notification. So because I've already pre-populated my fields, I haven't gotten a notification, but the idea is that when you create a new major incident, you will go ahead and get this pop-up in your system letting you know that a major incident has been created. And you can actually go ahead and accept or reject right from here itself. If you go ahead and accept, what it does is it will actually go ahead and assign the ticket to you. Now, let's take a look at a working view of a major incident and talk about why it's significant, why it's different from the view that you saw on the candidate. One key component that we give you on the working view of the major incident is this section to view impacted locations. Now, if you go ahead and click on this, what happens is it will go ahead and open up a world map. And this world map will show you the different regions around the world where you have major incident impact. So if you're an organization that's working across geographies, maybe you're distributed across the world, maybe you're just working out of Europe, or maybe it's even more nuanced than that. This world map just allows you to get a visual sense of, hey, what's my impact like? What are the different regions affected? And do I need to change my engagement strategy to handle that accordingly? Again, the idea being, depending on the level of impact you've got, the numbers you see here will change, the colors will change so that you quickly get a visual sense of how serious the issue is and which area is affected more or less. Now, the logic behind this map is configurable. Today, this example that you're seeing in front of you, what it's doing is it's taking a look at this incident, then making a note of all of the child incidents and seeing who's opened those child incidents. From that caller information, what it does is it builds out a map saying that this is where my different callers are located. These are the different end users who've called in saying they're facing issues. So this is my potential impact. It's entirely possible that this logic does not meet your business needs, in which case you have that flexibility to go in and modify it per your needs. The second major thing that I want to touch upon is around playbooks. We were speaking about this when we were talking about the value proposition. Now, in playbooks, what we've done is essentially we've leveraged our platform playbook capability and enhanced the presentation a little bit. Playbooks are, for those of you who may not be familiar with that offering, are a platform capability that essentially allow you to take your business process and define it on top of ServiceNow. Now, the advantage you get of doing that is it allows you to introduce automations as well as giving you certain stylistic visual elements that just make it easier for you to operate. Now, quickly, if I go ahead and take a look at what the playbook tab looks like, this is where I can access all of my different playbooks from. I can see that I have two playbooks available for me. I'm sorry, I have three playbooks available for me. So I've got the incident management playbook, I've got major incident process, and I've got something called the MIM playbook. Excuse me. Now I'm just going to go ahead and look through the incident triage checklist. So it asked me to first of all check if this incident is a major incident. Now I do that by going over here to the overview, scrolling up, seeing that the major incident state is accepted. All right, I'm good. Now I need to confirm if this incident is assigned to the right group. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to go ahead in my details section, verify that my assignment group information is correct. It is correct. All right. I'm going to go ahead and tick this back up. And I need to confirm that all of the information that I need is available. So how do I do that? Well, let's go over here. Let's see, do I have everything I need? All right. Our configuration item is missing, but all right. I know that the service is Tableau and service offering is Tableau dashboard. So I think I'm going to be good. I can also see some activity around the activity stream. So I know who I have to reach out to. I think I'm good for now. So I'm going to go ahead and hit check. Now, there's an aspect that I want to call out here, which becomes significant, and that's, in this little interaction, I'm constantly having to go back and forth. And while this playbook that I was showing you is conceptually very simple, I'm pretty sure that most of you are going to have very complex business processes with a lot of different steps, a lot of if checks, different conditions to be followed, SLAs to be met. So that idea of having to navigate back and forth between the tabs can get confusing. So what we've actually done is for major incidents, we've created a focused view. Now, what I want to do is I want to take this time to highlight a very core navigational aspect of Service Operations Workspace. So Service Operations Workspace works on this paradigm of tabs and side panels. And the idea is that you can use these combinations to assemble a matrix that works well for you. Now, in this situation, the problem that the major incident manager is facing is they constantly have to jump between tabs, which becomes difficult for them to navigate. So imagine you're a major incident manager, excuse me, you're coming online for starting off your day. In that situation, what you want to be doing is you want to be taking a look at the core ticket information. So you're probably sitting inside the information overview tab. And you also want to have visibility into what's happening next. Are there any SLAs you need to meet? Are there any tasks that immediately need your attention? In that situation, what you'd like to do is you'd like to have your playbooks popped open. So the view that you'd probably be taking a look at is this one. Just to explain what's going on, in these two columns, you've got your core ticket information available to you. You've got your summary, your business impact. You've got your activity stream where you can monitor anything that people are putting in. Along with that, you have the major incident process playbook open over here. Now, this is a representational playbook that we have shipped. You have the ability to go ahead and define your own. And what we've done is we've created a configuration. So what that configuration allows you to do is it allows you to restrict which playbooks get presented in the side panel. So the idea is leveraging that configuration, you can reduce the noise for your major incident managers, only allow them to see the playbooks that are absolutely essential. And along with that, using this focused view, you can make sure that they can assemble this kind of screen. I'll show you one more example of why this screen becomes important. Let's say you're inside our communications module, which is what you can leverage to send out, let's say, emails or SMSs or things of that sort. It's entirely possible that at this point in time, you also need to be creating tasks, which could be a step for you in your playbook. So the idea would be that, again, you have this communications module open up, and along with that, you just keep that playbook popped out to have visibility into what you need to be doing next. I'm going to go ahead and pause for a few seconds, let all of you digest this before we move to the next section. Once again, I'd like to remind you all, please feel free to put your questions inside the Q&A section, and our panelists will do their best to address them. All right. Moving further ahead, the next thing I want to call out for you is our communication section. For those of you who are not using ServiceNow for major incident, I'd like to clarify what communications mean. Communications represent those chunks of information that you're broadcasting out. Think one-to-many email updates, letting people know what's happening, that you have a major issue, things of that sort. The supported channels that we have for communications are email, SMS, and Microsoft Teams Plus. So what that means is, let's say you needed to send out an email update or an SMS bulk update to people, you could do that via our communications module. Now, the idea behind the communications module is that it automatically spins up communications in case you have a major incident. So if you set up this product properly, we have a sibling product known as Task Communications Management. And the idea is, leveraging Task Communications Management, you can predefine certain communications to appear so that once your major incident actually goes live, instead of your major incident manager having to build out emails and figuring out who to send it to, all of that stuff gets pre-baked in. So for example, let's say I need to fill out this communication around notifying my executives. What I do is I go ahead and just hit compose. And as you can see, my communication is preloaded with a template. It is preloaded with a list of recipients. All of this works. And one of the things that I do want to let you know is we actually do have advanced capabilities inside our TCM framework. So for example, let's say you need to build up a dynamic list of users based on subscription information, for example. Our framework actually allows you to build such entities so that at runtime, when your major incident managers need to send out those communications, they are reaching out to the right set of people. Additionally, I'd also like to point out that you can send a multi-channel communication. So in a single flow, you can send out an email, SMS, and Teams blast right from the same place, rather than having to do them as 3 separate UI interactions. Definitely something for you to look at. For those of you who've used the Workbench, I'd like to call out that we've modernized the presentation here. One of the pain points we frequently heard from customers was that the Workbench interface for composing communications was very small. We've tried to address that by giving now a full screen view that hopefully makes it a little bit easier for you to send out those updates to your stakeholders. The next thing I'd like to touch upon is our collaboration capability. So the idea with Collaborate is, this is how you would start, let's say, a new bridge call or a new group chat. So for example, over here, I can see that I've got a pre-baked card that tells me that I should start a Teams chat with my service owners. Now, if I go ahead and hit start, what it will actually do at that point is it will go ahead and start a conversation. I'm just, in the interest of time, I'm going to gloss over that part. But I would like to point out that this chat that you see over here, this is meant to be a Microsoft Teams chat. The idea being that when you hit start, it will ask you to open up your Teams client and start your chat from there. We also do support the ability to start a sidebar discussion, which is our evolution of our in-platform chat. I'm going to quickly show what that looks like. And I hit start discussion. And as you can see, it just pops open an in-platform chat over here. I do want to call out that as a separately licensable capability, we do have sidebar chat integrated with Microsoft Teams. So if you do actually opt for that license, what will happen is you can leverage this in-platform chat to chat with users who are on their Teams client. Definitely something to check out if it's not already a capability that's on your roadmap. Excuse me. Additionally, in a same interface, we have the ability to start a new call. So if you, for example, let's say wanted to start a Microsoft Teams meeting to start a bridge, or you wanted to start a telephony-based call, you have the ability to do that from this interface itself. So once again, really just emphasizing that point I spoke about in our value proposition, we want to keep you as much as possible on the ServiceNow platform. So the idea is we'd like you as our customers to start using these various integrations so that when that major incident actually goes live, the amount of time you're to spend going outside of the platform is significantly reduced. Now, bringing it home in terms of functionality, one of the final pieces that we have is our lightweight PIR experience. So once the major incident is resolved, I'm going to go ahead and just show you what that experience looks like. I'm going to say resolve by change. And I'm going to go ahead and hit resolve. And now what happens is I get access to this post-incident report functionality. When I click on this, there are a couple of things that are going to load. So again, I can just quickly see some core incident-related metrics. I can see who my contributors are. I can also see my incident summary, impact, and resolution. But the thing that we're most excited about in presenting to you from the ServiceNow side is our major incident timeline. Now, the idea of the major incident timeline is it's meant to be that running log of events that shows you what were the key activities that took place during the life cycle of the incident. Now, the major incident timeline does two things. It captures key lifecycle events. So, for example, when was the incident created? When was it proposed? When was it resolved? All of those things. But it also gives you the ability to go ahead and add events by hand. So the idea is, if you're doing this work today in Excel or Word, we'd like you to think about bringing it into the ServiceNow platform. So, for example, let's say I wanted to log the fact that major incident bridge was created. The way I do that is just by going in and saying, this is when the first bridge was created. And I go ahead and hit add. And as you can see, it goes ahead and puts the event. And now if, for example, I want to edit it, I can go ahead and do that as well. So let's say I just go ahead and put a previous timestamp. You can see now that the event goes ahead and gets moved. And you have some amount of control over the visual settings here. So for example, you can choose how you'd like to sort it, whether you want to group events, things of that sort. And we also give you the ability to hide events from the timeline. So let's say you go ahead and click on the hide button. What will happen is when you actually export this PIR to a PDF, at that point in time, this timeline event will not be shown. Now I'm going to show you what the preview looks like just real quick over here. So this is a small preview that you get of what your major incident report looks like. Now, the final thing that we've shipped as a part of this release is our admin experience. So I'm going to make sure, all right, I have the right user. I'm going to go ahead over here and type service operations workspace. And I'm going to go ahead and click on overview. Now, this is one of the sections we're most excited about, and this is one of those sections that you should keep an eye out for. All right, it looks like someone has gone ahead and modified this. So real quick, I'm going to go ahead and open another instance just so that I can show this to you. Now, the idea of the admin experience is it's where your system administrators essentially should be looking to check out how they can start configuring our different products. The idea with the admin experience is that it becomes the shop for seeing what are the different features that you need to be using in order to get value from our ServiceNow implementation. So the way you access it is you click over here, you go here. I'm going to wait for this to load. All right. Just quickly type in service operations workspace, click on overview. Now, as of right now, there are only a couple of different products surfaced here, but one of the top items that we are investing in our product roadmap is bringing all of our core incident problem change items onto the setup page. So as you can see right now, I have major incident management. If I go ahead and hit configure, what's going to happen is it's going to take me to a page which shows me all of my different configurations that I have available for the major incident product. So starting from allocating major incident managers in your system, right up to defining playbooks, email notifications, configuring the timeline, all of that stuff is here. And the idea, once again, is if you're setting up the product for the first time, this becomes your one-stop shop for understanding what are all the different tasks you need to do. If you're already our customer and looking to see what are the next features that you need to get up and running with, again, this just becomes that compass that you look to point you in the right direction. So that pretty much sums up our demo for major incident. I'm going to go ahead and flip back to our deck just to talk a little bit about some key information. So we did show you the safe harbor at the beginning of the release. So I am going to just go ahead and put this roadmap in front of you. As of right now, this is what our major incident roadmap is looking like. In our May store release, as we've already seen, we launched a bunch of different things. We launched our new experience altogether, along with playbooks, along with PIR, and that new admin experience. Tentatively for August, what we're looking at is we're looking at building out a potential announcement integration. So the idea with the announcement integration is that you as a major incident manager would have the ability to put out a banner on an end user's portal. So for those of you who actually have a need to show your end users that, hey, there's a major incident going on, the idea is you'd have an experience where your major incident manager can actually draft the communication for that banner, hit a button, and after that, the end users would directly see that banner on their service portal. Now, going into Q4 and next year, we are invested heavily, as you all know, in our Gen AI based experiences. So, some of the ideas that we have around here are leveraging Gen AI for sending email updates, as well as for building the post incident report. Given the amount of detail that you have in the post incident report, the amount of work you have to do, we really believe that there's value to be achieved over here. Along with that, one of the big things that we're seeing in our roadmap is around status pages and subscription management. For people who are execs, you need to have that page letting them know what service health like. Is there a bridge going on for the major incident? What are the top communications that were sent out? So we are planning as ServiceNow to give you an interface that allows you to do all of that. Additionally, one of the big ticket items that we're trying to target on our roadmap is the ability to set up key channel integrations. So we've heard from a lot of you that setting up Microsoft Teams, setting up Twilio can be cumbersome at times, and we are actively exploring in-product ways to achieve those use cases. Now, I do want to close the session by saying that while this is meant to be an overview, just giving you a snapshot into major incident, I'm sure there are entirely possibilities that you'd like to know more. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and just put up a small slide of some of our key team member contacts. Jim, Sam, if you guys can drop your contacts in the chat as well, that'd be great. So we are the different members of the product management team who are available here, and we'd love to talk to you to understand more about what you think about service operations, what do you think about major incident. It's entirely possible that there's something you were looking for which was not covered in the session today. And if that's the case, please drop an email to any of the people you see on your screen here, and we will set up time with you to understand how we can best service your needs. With that said, our team members have already gone ahead and put some of these resources in the chat. So please do keep an eye out. Like I said, the service operations release that we've shown you is the 5.0 May release. In order to start leveraging the capabilities that we've spoken about, you would need to be in Washington patch 2 or higher. And you would also need to install the service operations 5.0 release. We also touched a little bit on some sister products today. So for example, on-call scheduling and Notify, task communications management. If you're interested in leveraging some of these additional capabilities, we do believe that they provide value. So we've also provided supporting links to the respective documentation. When you install major incident, you are automatically entitled to each of these products as well. So definitely something to check out if you haven't already invested in. Now, that's about it from our side. So we'll open the floor up in case any of you still do have open questions. Please do feel free to post them in the chat. What I'm going to do is just to keep it simple, I'm going to go ahead and keep the team contact slides open and floor is open. We do have about 15 minutes left. So if there are any questions, please do go ahead and post them. I will also start monitoring the Q&A just to see if there's anything we can address live. All right. I see a question from Madhumita around connecting around showcasing Gen AI. Please do drop us an email. While we are not the team that specifically looks after Gen AI, we can definitely connect you with the right members from our product team, and they can have that conversation with you. I see a question from Jay around ServiceNow Learning. Thanks for raising that. That is definitely something we are working on actively. So tentatively, we are planning to see if we can get a major incident now learning course up. If not by end of 2024, definitely beginning of 2025. That's where we are with that. And Madhumita, to your question, you will be able to use MIM on SOW with Washington. The only thing to be aware of is you should be on Washington patch 2 or higher. I see a question from Simon around automatically creating a problem record. Great question, Simon. So while that configuration wasn't enabled in my instance, I do want to call out that that is one of the features we've shipped. So we've done two things. The first thing we've done is we've given an automatic creation of problems. So let's say anytime your major incident is resolved, if you want to automatically go ahead and create that problem tracking ticket, our playbook actually has that integration baked in. You have to enable it, you have to set it to true in order for that to work. Additionally, what we've done is we've given what's called a recommended action. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how you can access a recommended action because it wasn't discussed in our demo. So recommended actions show up over here. Now, we've spoken to some customers who say, look, we don't wait for the major incident to be resolved. We create a problem ticket beforehand. So for those kind of use cases, what happens is you get this recommended action over here, which tells you that, hey, look, do you want to create a tracking problem to go with this incident? And you have the ability to go ahead and do so right from here. And what we do is we actually map a whole bunch of the incident fields onto the problem so that you don't have to manually go and fill them out. So hopefully that helps clarify that specific question. All right. Any learning resources on event management? We don't specifically look after event management. That falls more under the purview of our ITOM use cases. But again, if you drop us an email, we would be more than happy to point you to the right points of contact for that. All right, I see someone ask, our problem management is linked with KB base to record our RCA. Will this be possible in SOW? I believe you should be able to link your problem tickets to a knowledge base article from SOW. That should not be an issue for you. Excuse me. All right. Please feel free to go ahead and ask any more questions. We do have 12 minutes left. The floor is open. I see a question from James in terms of field mapping or anything like that. If you could just add a little more color to that question, please.
Context. Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not quite sure what that's in relation to.
The recommended actions question.
Ah.
So in terms of how the recommended actions work, there are two levels of recommended actions that you can set up. So effectively similarity, which is one of the ones that Harsh was talking about there. So have you got a problem for a major incident? Have you already got existing incidents set up? And then you've got the machine learning. So you can absolutely configure which fields you want to use to train your machine learning model from, definitely.
Awesome. Once again, about 10 minutes left. Please feel free to drop your questions in the Q&A. I see a question from Jens around different kinds of notifications or updates. I'm glad you asked that. So let me go ahead and give you a little more color on how that works. So the idea is your communicate tab, you can present in one of two ways. You can present it in a task-based fashion, which is what you see over here. So what's happened here is we've gone ahead and just prioritized the tasks for you based on when they're due. And we don't really distinguish at this point around who are the different groups of people that you actually need to notify. But if you need to go for that kind of presentation, what you can do is flip this and say group by communication plan. Now, what communication plans do is essentially they enforce a logical grouping of people. So a communication plan represents a series of communications that go out to a specific group of people. So for example, in the case of this major incident, what's the bifurcations that we've made in terms of the groupings are service owners, executives, subscribers. So what's going to happen is every single task that I see inside the service owner grouping is going to go out to that specific group of people. So you do have the ability to make that distinction to send out different communications to different groups of people. Hope that makes it clear. I see a question from Madhumita around, do we have AI suggested solutions with MIM? As of right now, we haven't built out those AI suggested resolutions, but definitely something that we are thinking about.
That said, Harsh, even though we don't have them built out, if there are remediation playbooks and stuff that they understand would work, they can absolutely still use those by using the remediation playbook, right?
That is 100% correct. and you'd be able to access your remediation playbooks from this panel over here. Now, given that this instance doesn't have remediation set up, you're not going to be able to see any remedial actions, but you're 100% right, Janet. So if you did in fact configure remedial actions to work, they would be available over here. All right, once again, we have about 8 minutes left in case any of you are interested in just getting some of your questions addressed. Please drop a message in the Q&A. We are here to support you.
Thank you, Jay. Glad you found this useful. Yeah, any questions you have, by all means, drop them in. We look for it.
All right, I see a question from Piotr. Are there integrations with other ITSM tools, example Jira? We don't have a direct integration with Jira. You would have to integrate that with a custom flow of yours. I see another question from Daniel around, is there an easy way of viewing updates from customers from their respective child incidents? Yes, the child incidents updates will actually bubble up onto your activity stream of the parent ticket. So you should be able to see it over there. So the idea, okay, I see someone has posted a question for the announcements bit. So I do want to clarify that the ability to create a banner in Service Portal, it does exist today. That's not new functionality that we're inventing. But the idea is that now we're planning to give you the ability to do that from within Service Operations Workspace. So if you wanted to use the current state of the platform, what you'd have to do as a major incident manager is you'd have to step out of the incident ticket, go create that banner, walk through that metadata, and then come back here. Now, within the ticket context itself, we want to give you the ability to create that new banner. That's essentially what we're thinking. Once again, I do want to call out, this is on our roadmap. It hasn't been committed yet. We haven't implemented it yet. It's something we're looking at potentially for launching in August. So do keep an eye out in case we're able to go ahead with that release. All right, we've got about 5 minutes. Once again, any questions, comments you'd like to leave, please go ahead and put them in the Q&A. All right, that's a great question. So the DL that you can integrate, is it unlimited or is it limited? Soumya, can you speak to what are the maximum number of recipients we can add inside a contact definition? I don't think we have a limitation.
Yeah, I mean, earlier we had a limitation of 4,000 on the email, but now with the recipient list being expanded in background, that limit no longer exists. So it is unlimited.
So
it also depends on the channel of communication, right? If they're using SMS, it's very different. So each channel has a different limit.
Yes.
Yeah. So I just assumed an answer for email, but yes, that's correct. Like different channels will have different limits.
Okay, I see a question from Mulyadi around creating a dashboard for SOW process. So you can do that in one of two ways. The idea is you can either create a dashboard you can create a pie chart, let's say on the overview, or else you can use our Power offerings entirely separately. We do actually have, I don't see it over here because it's not there on this instance, but one of the things to definitely keep in mind is we're coming up with a new centralized offering around platform analytics, again, built out in this new UI technology. And the idea is that that becomes a central workspace from where you can access all of your different dashboards. So what we're looking at right now is service operations workspace, but if you want a central place for just dashboarding, our platform analytics team is coming up with that. I do want to just, in the last few minutes, I do want to just also call out, it seems that there was some concern around the playbook being interactive. I do want to quickly show you and point out that the playbook is meant to be a completely interactive component. So for example, like just talking about communications, because we touched on that earlier, you can actually use this playbook, for example, to go ahead and send out communication. So if you hit compose over here, it actually takes you to the experience for drafting a new communication. And this is just meant to be a representational playbook. Like this is something we're shipping out of box as a lightweight skeleton. We'd love for you to run with this and create your own. The idea being that playbooks have their own designer called Process Automation Designer with different kinds of visual and backend components available that you can use to stitch together your process. So we touched upon a checklist. I've shown you some interfaces here. These are just examples of some of the different components that are available for you to come in and define your business process with. SMS support for notification groups will work via the communication framework. Our playbooks like KBs, playbooks are actually meant to replace your process KBs in this specific context. So rather than going ahead and writing out a KB for what your process is, what we'd like you to start thinking about is coming in and actually defining that process as a flow diagram. So the idea is rather than putting in like a screenshot of a flow diagram, just take that time, build it out in Process Automation Designer. And then what will happen is at runtime, you'll actually be able to see those different steps in action as interactive elements over here. Hope that answers that question. We do have a minute left in case anyone just wants to get some final thoughts in. Please feel free to drop a note. We're here. Once again, these are the different team members who support all of this initiative. So in case there's something you were looking for, which wasn't covered here, or you just want to know more, give us some feedback, please feel free to drop us an email and we will try our best to reach back out to you. All right, so that brings us to the end of our session. Thanks again, everyone, for joining us. Hopefully you found some value in the session today. We're here once again. Please feel free to reach out via email, drop us a note, let us know what you thought about the session. In case you want a more detailed demo or talk about some of our other ITSM capabilities, we're happy to support with that as well. Thanks again for joining us. We hope you had a great session and we will see you around for the next time we have one of these. Hope you have a great rest of your day.